Hi, honey bunnies. How are you? What a scorcher. I'll tell you what, I still think we've got a few lost in barbecues with a few beers. But if you're here, thank you for being here. And we're going to be talking about writing. Um, this is a bit of professional love for you guys. Anything where we're tuning into stuff that's going to help us feel better about our lives as teachers, then this is what this is all about. I've already seen in the chat we've got some old school ravers and misbehaviors. Hello, Bryony Shaw. You are most welcome. One of the original squatters out there. So you're all welcome, beautiful humans, and our job to rear the next generation of beautiful humans. I mean, that's a big task, isn't it? But tonight, we are going to be zooming in to the very beginning, getting a lesson started right. And we know time is the most precious commodity of all. And oh, it really does break my heart a little bit. A couple of years ago, the TES asked teachers what they wanted more of, and teachers said time, and children said time and hugs. That's a bit much, isn't it? I'll just Oh dear. I'm still trying to get my estrogen patch levels right. I hope I don't start crying tonight. It could all kick off. Who knows? So everyone's welcome. Just so you know who's here, I'm here with Mr. C. I'm going to put him on the camera now so you can see I'm not inventing this man.
Hello, everybody. It's me who's sort of like doing the chat and everything. If you got any questions, just hit them in the chat. We might get Jane to answer some of them. I might just try and answer them myself in the chats. We've got people coming in from Facebook, Twitter, and everything. So we'll probably try and use Jane as much as possible. Right, Jane, back to you. I'm just going to switch over the mic.
Back to me. Oh, we're going to use Jane if you like. What? You're on about? Don't quote. Oh. Oh, Jude, Jude, so lovely to have you here. And Jude actually is looking after my daughter at the moment, who's doing some volunteering in Jude's school. And she just keeps saying, "Oh, Mum, Jude is lovely." So that's cute. So we know, well, we knew you were lovely anyway. So tonight, any questions you've got, hit us up. This is your little chunk, little blast of CPD. Ian will answer anything he can. And we've got a suite of 4 sessions, 4 sessions all about writing. And they always start at 7:30. Now, come back and have a look at what?
Just because I've only just put it on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh, no. I've got 4 kids. We've got 1 diamond. That's nice, isn't it? We might have a sapphire as well, but we've got a lump of coal. Yeah. Anyway, we'll work it out. They'll reveal themselves, I'm sure, down the line. Right. So, yeah, Mr. C here to help us as well in the background. Now, what are the 4 sessions going to be all about? It is the shape of a writing lesson. And specifically, how we start a lesson is what we're going to be talking about tonight. Don't be giving him compliments. We'll never get home. So, yeah, we're going to start here. And what I wanted to say was, as part of this little CPD blast, we have got some step by step downloadables, explanatory sheets, because I know lots of you here have to wear an English subject leader hat. You've got to take messages back, and that's sometimes a bit tough. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flash you a QR code. How exciting is that?
You have to explain what people got to do with the QR code.
They are not dinosaurs, Ian. I don't have to explain a blinking QR code. They can. soon you're going to get your phone, which I know is in your hand anyway, doom scrolling and all that jazz. You're going to get your camera open, you're going to place it at the QR code, and that is going to ask you to punch in your information, and then you release your step-by-step guides. And these are going to be really handy in spreading the message of some key, very actionable things that can make a really big difference at the beginning of a lesson. So this is about the kickstart, the beginning, ensuring children are in the best place to really do well with their writing. Okay, here comes the QR code. It's on the screen now, and oh, am I? Let me raise it. There we are, raising, raising. Yeah. Yes, so that will take you to the step-by-step guides. There are 3 to download, and it gives different guidance about plot points for story, waypoints for nonfiction, and verses or stanzas for poetry. And these are really handy if you're an English subject leader, or if you're a little bit, inebriated and you're thinking, I'm here, but am I really here? You think, I was there, I enjoyed it, but what was I trying to remember? So, yeah, they're really handy to get your mitts on. Okay, so this is actually a chunk of CPD where I want to sharpen your thinking for the very first minute of the lesson. No more than a minute, just one beautiful minute. And this minute done well will really enhance how they're thinking about their work. Now, just before I get into that minute, the kickstart of the lesson, I also wanted to say that as part of tonight, we've got a new unit that's just landed. If you're a subscriber to the unit plans, we've just slid into the library a new unit based on the gorgeous book Lights on Cotton Rock by David Litchfield. And this is ideal cross-curricular link to science if you're doing space in year 5. All of our units are written with teachers, by teachers, for teachers, real teachers. So, there's this real sense that, everyone's kind of worked really hard and invested in them, really trying to keep children at the forefront of our thinking. This other QR code is to get you into our free unit plan examples that you can download if you've not found them yet. Okay, so first things first. I hope you're all right out there. I hope you've not got any sunstroke. Uh, and yes. Oh,
It feels like a lockdown refresher.
oh, it is a lockdown refresher. It is a lockdown refresher. Oh, you got something refreshing. I actually feel a bit hot and bothered. I just couldn't quite face a prosecco, so I've got a lovely Diet Coke. And I've got to drive to Liverpool. Yeah, so big up Liverpool, the cluster of people I'm going to see up there. In fact, Mr. C, can you find out the school that I'm working with and the cluster? I'll give them a shout out as well because they might be watching in. Okay, so let's start with one lesson. One lesson where we've got our reason to write, and if it's story, our reason to write is going to be here, the plot point. So I've taken plot point number 6 from the new unit by David Litchfield, based on that book, Lights on Cotton Rock. And when we work in this way, mainly for cognitive overload reasons, rather than teaching in 2 halves, this is my half, and I'm working really hard half, and I've got lots of paired talk half, and then this is your half. And if I'm being observed, I might put a plenary at the end. If not, I can't be asked. We work in a different way, which is broken down into 20-minute chunks. And it's very much like, I suppose, a chuckle brother, like to me, to you, to me, to you. And as I pass over what I want the children to do, I'm always going to model writing. The mission in a lesson is to um, power up to a paragraph. And, you know, uh, loosely, we want 3 bare minimum sentences to make a paragraph, all the way up to, and we know it's not an exact science, less, but less is more. 15. If George wants to write 17 sentences, of course he can, but actually, we want really well structured writing. Okay. So, this CPD session is all about breathing a plot point to life. And what I mean by that is, rather than read David Litchfield book, and you can read this book, but I would read it after you've worked with it for writing. We are going to use significant pictures from this book, probably less than that are actually in the real picture book. And we're going to deepen these plot point moments with children so they've got a really good understanding of them. So, why do we want to breathe a plot point to life? Mainly because children can't write in a vacuum. And we know from the science of learning that the more knowledge they have, and the more understanding of the context, they are going to be better writers. So we've got to see that beginning of the lesson as a really important opportunity to enrich their knowledge. And they need to be all knowing and really kind of deeply connect with what is happening at that moment. So when I talk about breathing a plot point to life, that one little slither of a minute at the beginning, the purpose of it is I am going to get you into this moment. I am also, as a teacher, I'm going to drench you in language. I'm not going to leave anything to chance. I can't assume anything about your life, but I'm going to make sure that you have a deep knowing about it. And when we talk about breathing a plot point to life, we actually do it to music. So, if the plot point is this lovely moment, and the central character in Lights on Cotton Rock is Heather. And when we're breathing just this moment to life, it's not bombarding them with loads of plot. It's like, I want you to really get this. We are going to do it to music. Now, I know some of you know this, but some of you don't know this. I've got a Spotify account. Oh, I've got an account and I've got a playlist. And I've actually got 2 playlists that are an open account. And one of the playlists is called Jane Considine's Negative Plot Points. And one of the playlists is called Jane Considine's Positive Plot Points. These are a collection of very evocative instrumental pieces of music. I actually don't have any Beethoven and Mozart in these playlists. A lot of the music there is very Disney and Pixar. If you think about all the money that has been put into the science of music that really moves children, a lot of them are songs from Bug's Life, or Inside Out, or Toy Story. And what I'm going to do now is show you, I'm going to use actually a bit of music from Inside Out. The piece of music is called Joy Turns into Sadness. And the other thing actually I wanted to say about that Spotify playlist.
I should put them both in the
Oh, good boy, Ian. Look at him hitting up the chat. Good boy. Um, if you have got your wedding song or you love, Yellow by Coldplay instrumental version, and you think this is going to be very good music to kickstart a lesson, um, you can slide it into my playlist. You don't need permission, and I get notified. I actually love this, don't I, Ian? It's like, I go and listen to that music, and sometimes I go, actually, I think somebody's gonna use that with the unit Rose Blanche. I can often predict, or look at that lovely, sort of sea-inspired bit of music with seagulls sort of sounds in the background. I think they're gonna use that for Lost and Found by Oliver Jeffers. But sometimes it's really handy if it's your wedding song because you know the rhythm of the music and when the drop's gonna come in or the donk or whatever. Um, and just having in your teacher toolkit, 5 well-known songs for you that have got kind of positive emotive intent and 5 negative, you know, they can be made to feel very different, used with different pictures. Okay, so what do I mean by breathe a plot point to life? It's essentially a narration. And why we're doing it is to ensure, actually, Mr. C, do you know what I'm really missing? I've normally got like a highlighter clicker, like where I can highlight things. And it's not on this is really boring text stuff in it. I was thinking, I can normally do like a notability highlighter. Is that it? Or have I found it? Found it. Found it. Found it. Yeah. Thank you.
You got
Look at that. Woo, found it. Okay. So why are we doing this? So the children deeply know what's happening. When they're writing stories, we want them to write central character, truly empathetic writing. And so why we're also doing this is because we want them to really connect with the character. We want their writing to be more vivid because children can't write in a vacuum. So I'm now going to do an example of this. It will last a minute. We're going to play some music. I'm going to flip over to my keynote now, Mr. C. And I'm, why? You're trying to find me highlighter, and we're going to make a start. So music coming on now, instrumental, and so it rolls. Right, music started, the pictures in the room, and the last child has come in and sat down. Here we go. Night after night, she sat on Cotton Rock, and she returned time and time again. She sat through wind, rain, and snowstorms. She sat through summers and autumns and winters, and actually, any time she felt sad or a little downtrodden by life, she went to Cotton Rock, hoping to meet her special friend from the skies. But he never came. And you see, if she felt angry, she'd sit on the rock. And if she felt lonely, she'd sit on the rock. And if she felt overwhelmed, she'd sit on the rock. And all she wanted, deep down, really deep down, was for her friend to come back and take her away. And she peered up into the vast, endless abyss and clicked her torch on and off and on. But nothing. Night after night she waited. And night after night she peered into the universe. Nothing. The spaceship didn't return. And Heather even tried new ways to get her sky friend's attention. Radio waves, real waves, electricity signals, lights, but nothing. She just felt she couldn't give up hope. Okay, everybody, this is how we start a lesson. We bring them in, we crack open a picture, we bring them into that picture, and we breathe it to life. Because with a deep knowing and drenching in language, they've got more of a chance. So, lots to think about there. And a lot of people say to me, okay, that's all very well, but that's a little bit harder, isn't it, with non-fiction and poetry. I'm going to talk about tonight non-fiction and poetry because it very much is about those types of writing as well. When you follow our sign-in Sunday sessions, teacher family kind of link, you'll get a why we breathe a plot point to life. It's a step-by-step guide. You'll also get that little narration. And I did just want to say, in all of the early years Write Stuff plans, I have written those narrations for early years staff. And we felt when we spoke to other members of staff, they're further up in the school, they're like, yeah, we can do this, we can vibe this, it would be interlinked with our personality. And so, yes, there is an element of freedom there, but we need children to know very deeply that moment in their story. Okay. Because I know a lot of you have heard me say before, don't read the story. And it sometimes smacks of, I don't care about reading. Oh, believe you me, I deeply care about reading. And it kind of smacks of, well, how are we going to get them to be knowledgeable? This is the way. Okay. Mr. C, before I hit non-fiction or poetry, is there any questions? Is there anything anybody wants to ask me?
There is a couple of things, but I think you're covering them not in this session, but later session. But it's all to do with shadometers and things.
Yes.
Just one other thing as well.
Yes.
When she follows the QR codes on a phone,
Yes.
it jumps her out of your live, which is
Oh,
I'm going to put all of the links. They're in the chat, but I'll also put them in the description once we're finished.
all right. We don't want people jumping off and jumping out of live. Stay in the live. Stay in the live and get your sheets later. Yeah? Stupid little sheets. Hey. Right. Now, what I'm going to... Oh,
For the sheets.
thank you, Mr. C. They're step-by-step guides. Remember, we had a meeting about it, and let's have a meeting about it, Jane, because you can never remember what things are called. All right, whatever. Can't remember what it's bloody called. Right, I'm now going to
It's all about the interaction, Jane.
put your camera on and your mic. Stop mumbling in the background. No one can hear you, Ian.
It says the starter was amazing. It brought me to tears.
Oh, Mazza. Are you okay, hun? Like, don't. Don't be crying now, honey.
Donna, there's missed QR codes. The links will be in the description of the video.
I said that to Ian. I said, all this flash array, QR codes, it ain't going to work. It's going to flash on, flash off. We can't cope as teachers. It's all too madcap mayhem.
Watch this. This is going to be on air forever.
Whatever. Right. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you a video of me teaching in a year 3 classroom, and we were working with this book, this gorgeous book, Last Stop on Market Street, and we were working with this plot point when Grandma and CJ are going to go to the other side of town, and they're trying to get to the community centre where they're going to make soup for the homeless people and downtrodden people in the community. Now, have a little look at this video, just because, again, it's story, and I'm letting you know that this is the quickest way we can get them with us. The 3 things that we're trying to do: knowledge, context. Do they know what the hell's going on? Yeah, I'm going to get you into this. And that kind of, we want them to have sticky listening. You know, this is your chance, children. They'll work out, like, really listen into this, because there's going to be language to help you. Yes. Are you ready to show that video, Mr. C?
I've just got a question from Polly.
Keep your camera on. Yeah, hit me up.
What she's asking, it's on the screen. Do you write these yourself? Do you write this yourself? Is it what the children will be writing?
Okay,
that's this is jumping back to your bring the plot point to life. So
okay, so Polly's question. So the truth is, Polly, you write these yourself. So when I'm just going to flash these on the screen. This is my write-up of Heather sat on the rock. Now, what I tend to find is, for the first couple of weeks, you have to write them, because you've got to have the image up there. You're trying to tune into the music, but as it goes on, I actually have got better of just, like, putting a few keywords that I definitely want to include. And now, if I wasn't here, facing you guys, and it was just me and my class, I definitely could do it on the fly. So yeah, I think just with time, it gets better and better. Now, in terms of what the children are writing, this isn't this plot point is what the children will be writing about. But I'm not thinking, oh, I want to include an adverbial phrase, I want to include a relative clause, I want to include some dialogue. I am just getting them into this moment. It's like, you need to know what the hell's going on. And then I'm going to move into my 3 reasons to write. And then I'm going to really sharpen up what I want them to be taught, as it were. So this Breathe to Life is a bit more like you. It's loose. But it's about knowledge. Yeah. A really good question, Polly. Okay, Mr. C, can you show this clip from a year 3 classroom working with this plot point? Brilliant. You've got that video. You know, when you said go for it, like, I've got to go for it. It's called CJ. And CJ, well, he gets picked up by Grandma. And Grandma, well, she is the sort of person who doesn't have a car, and she expects CJ to walk everywhere. And he's got to do so much walking. They go here, there, and everywhere. And where are they going? Well, Grandma is the sort of person who does jobs that she doesn't get paid for. And CJ is always taken with her. CJ looked around. He could see shops covered in graffiti. He could see overflowing bins. He could see lots. A little bit fed up. A little bit lonely. And he thought, are they a little bit hungry? It wasn't a very pleasant walk, and CJ held on tight to Grandma's hand. And Grandma said, we're going to go somewhere. We're going to do something that's going to make people feel better. Have a chat now with your friends about the story so far. Off you go. Oh, I had a Diet Coke burp there. You just caught me on camera. Mr. C, hey, we're all out of sync, aren't we there? Yeah, oh yes, go on. Yeah,
We no, we attended the training in Manchester. Oh, what's it?
come
We
on.
attended the training in Manchester in March, and I love listening to how different teachers are doing this at the start of their lesson.
Oh, that is amazing, isn't it?
Jane suggested choosing 3 pupils to share their writing to music at the end. And it's so powerful. They love it.
Oh, Ollie, thank you for that feedback. I actually wasn't going to talk about that because I'm always thinking about overload and like tipping us as a group of teachers over the edge. But what Ollie's just said there, because he's come on a Right Stuff training course, I talked there about starting with music and that and ending with that music, and that children, if we choose 3 children to stand on a piece of rope in the classroom, that's laid out like a rectangle, like a paragraph, and we'll have Nimrat, Ella, and George, and they read their work back and they power up to a paragraph to music. They really do rise to the occasion. So that's a really lovely comment there, Ollie. But at the moment, let's sort out the beginning bit because the beginning bit is so crucial.
You're rushing again.
Why?
So, Kerry, people are coming to. They want to be involved in the.
Yeah. I'm not rushing. I'll answer anything.
Kerry Shepherd and said, "I've got to say, I'm loving the banter as well as the lesson."
Yeah, right. Stop having so much fun, you lot. It's all right, you lot, behind the scenes, on the chat, and Ian's mic never puts it on, or his camera, and it's just like the shadowy doomster in the background. Go on then, put your camera on, see if people can hear you. See, wouldn't. Right. Okay. Right. We're going to do non-fiction so that we've got an example, because I think everyone can really connect with what it is for story, but what is it for non-fiction? Now, I just want to explain non-fiction because we do need a different type of thinking brain when it comes to non-fiction. And we also know it's a national weakness compared to story. It's much harder to teach nonfiction, and we know there's a lot of work to do around it. So I'm going to zoom in and just imagine that we're going to be writing a biography, that we're going to be writing a sporting biography linked to Florence Joyner. Now, many of you have heard me say this before, that when okay, but I was going to do it in parts. Sorry. So can I push it down a bit? All right. Yeah. So basically, when we teach nonfiction, we are trying to train children to build it like Lego, and that to build a piece of nonfiction, you need almost like these little bricks, these little Lego bricks that mean things. So, for example, this shape or little kind of brick, the umbrella stands for the overarching idea. And we use that ever such a lot in biographies, general information texts, leaflets. Yeah, the overarching idea. Now, when we work with these shapes, these are inserted into waypoints. So for story, they're called plot points, but for non-fiction, they're called waypoints, because I want us to imagine that we're showing children on our working wall that we have got a reader who is going on a journey to read this biography, and a bit like a sat nav on a journey to read a biography, they're going to stop off at these waypoints and collect these meaning making bricks. And there might be 3 to collect, there might be 5 to collect, but when the reader has collected all of them, they've read your biography. So the brick idea, the building it like Lego, gives a clear, clean visual to children about the structure and organisation of the piece of non-fiction. So, what we have to do when we work with non-fiction is we have to almost have 2 modes of thinking happening at the same time. Mode 1 is, well, what is the structure and organisational brick that we're thinking about, the overarching idea? But equally as important, what is going to be the content? What is going to be the almost the pictorial image? What is going to be the context? And is there a visual that can sum it up? Because if we get the context right, this can give us key information to include in our overarching idea shape. So let me show you that when we start a non-fiction lesson, children have to know, first of all, context. They have to have knowledge, and we're going to furnish them with lots of knowledge that they can include in the overarching idea shape. So here, you'll get quite nifty with this because I'm doing Florence Joyner. I'm going to hit up my positive plot points, and in there we've got Chariots of Fire. And why have we chosen that? Because we can thematically link it because of kind of running and sporting theme. And now I'm going to give you an example of what you might do with non-fiction. And please, as you listen along, notice how it's your job as a teacher, almost to the whole point of non-fiction, furnish them with facts. Okay. And that all of these facts, if they've got really good sticky listening, it's a chance for them to remember as many as they can, talk about them. And it's not that we're going to hold facts back later when we write. It's always an opportunity to give more, give more, give more. Okay, so here we go. Let's have a go with some non-fiction. Florence Joyner was starting to get noticed. She was getting so much notice from around the world that she got a nickname, Flojo. The American track and field team were delighted she was on the squad because she was a real talent. She was so incredibly fast at 100 metres, fast at 200 metres. Soon, she was going to be up against the best from around the world. In 1988, at the Seoul Olympics in Korea, she caught everyone's eye from around the globe because her fashion and style was so different from the other athletes. And she had used the track like a fashion runway, and her outfits were so colourful and flamboyant, and her hair and nails were glamorous and show-stopping. So not only was the whole world looking at her because of her style. Well, believe you me, she garnered world recognition for her phenomenal record-breaking time. She smashed it in Korea and won 3 gold medals, one for the relay, one for 100 metres and one for 200 metres. What a world record-breaking woman. Sorry, if anything, yeah. Okay, so there's lots to do in a non-fiction breathe a waypoint to life because they need key facts and we can take them into that moment and they know that collecting facts and information there is going to stand them in good stead when they write. Mr. C, are there any questions?
The only question we've got at the moment is about shotting, but I said we're covering that in another.
Yeah. Actually, this is a good time to say next week's session is going to be all about thinking side, and that's metacognition for writing. Thinking side is essentially getting children to use their books like a writing journal. And how do we work a thinking side? What are some of the techniques that mean that we can unlock a lot of language onto thinking side? And next week, make sure you're here because I'm going to be talking about 4 key strategies. And do we know all of them very well to support children to unlock and find the right words at the right time? So, yeah, I know it might feel like we're pushing back questions, but next week is thinking side time. And that question we've just had about chatting and jotting, that's part of it. It's only a little part of it. So there's a lot to explore next week. Okay. So not that I don't want your questions. We've got to make sure that we don't confuse the issue.
Have we got any questions about believing the plot point to life?
Have we? Yeah, I don't know if we've got. You're in charge of that bit, Mr. C, not me. Right. Okay. So we know children who enjoy writing, and this is what the data says, these children are 17% more likely to be our greater depth writers. So we want them to enjoy writing, and writing for pleasure comes from that safety of knowing, kind of knowing what to write. And this is where breathing a plot point to life, that real kind of safety and certainty and deepness, I am giving my time to you, children, to take you into this Heather on Cotton Rock space or Florence Joyner record breaking space, so that we're really sharp before we even hit other activities that we might work with to unlock more language. Okay, so once again, there's a non-fiction sheet. You can see there I've put an opportunity to furnish them with facts, and very important that we're giving them certain key pieces of information. Uh,
Same link,
they're all on that same link and an example there. And if you want more examples, I know a lot of English subject leaders, actually, to get this message out to everybody, go to the early years write stuff plans and pull off pictures and the narration because they've all been written for you. That's a really good place to start. But like Ollie is already seeing, as he looks at practice, all these different teachers who are making it their own and putting a donk on it, I'm sure. Right.
chat again.
Right.
In case anybody's just jumped on.
Cool.
So that link is in the chat again.
Good boy, Mr. C. 10 out of 10. Right, come and see me later. You can have a sticker. Exciting. Right. So I've just put up here because I often get asked this. Do you have a breathe away point to life for every lesson? Well, yes, is the answer. Whenever you start a lesson, whether it's story or nonfiction, we breathe it to life. And so, for example, if it's a postcard and we're looking at the Lego brick, the structure and organizational shape of the best bit about the holiday, uh, and this is linked to a topic we're doing in geography, then our we always have a picture. Pictures speak a thousand words. We have a picture, and our best bit is going to be looking at the boats coming in on the shoreline on our holiday, and the sun is setting. And if we're writing a holiday brochure, and our little brick that we're working on is call to action, because we're going to sell you a holiday to Sacre Bray, because that's going to link to year 3 history, Stone Age man. We're going to have a picture because we're going to say, look, you need to book a place quick to stay here and experience the life of a Stone Age person. And if we're writing an information report and it's linked to a topic in for Romans, then if we want some key information organized in chunks, this section is all going to be about the amphitheaters. So children come in, the music starts, the last child parks their arse, and you go straight into building and breathing that moment. Okay. Um,
Bring that down just a little bit.
yeah, of course. Just have a look here. Um, because this is a crucial part of how I want us to teach nonfiction, which will come back down the line in our 4th session that I know you're all obsessed about, which is independent writing. That's going to be the 4th Sunday session. But can you see here, we've got our building bricks. Our reader is going on a journey to read a postcard. And this is the structure and organisation of the postcard. We found the structure and organisation of the postcard because we've read another postcard that was built in exactly the same Lego brick way. It opened with a, informal greeting, wavy hand. Hi, Mum. And then the postcard we read went with the best bit about the holiday. So we've got this image of the best bit of the boats coming into the shoreline as the sun sets. We've also got these 2 shapes, what they did yesterday and what they plan to do tomorrow. So when we hit that lesson, we're going to be talking about Athens, walking around Athens and the lovely architecture. So they need to know what that's all about. The next lesson, when we're zooming into information about the local area and asking the reader a question, we're going to be giving them, as in the reader, information, really close information about architecture in Greece during that time. And finally, a plea and a heartfelt close. You should have come, Mum. Why should she have come? Well, she should have come because the sea was turquoise. I said that really weirdly, didn't I? Turquoise. I don't know. Sighting. So these images get slowly revealed. The context, the content at the beginning of the lesson. It's the picture and the words and the music to really drop children into that real sense of we want them to be excited writers and rich with a knowing about what to do. So oh, exciting. We have a code. Ian's made this code. He's dead proud of himself. Like most things, he's dead proud of his QR codes. We've made a discount code called Sunday Sessions 15.
Sessions. Make sure it's got the S.
It's got to have the S on it, apparently. And this gives
No
you
spaces. It's just all one word,
no
no
space.
spaces.
No spaces. At any point in, you can put your mic on or your camera. It's up to you. Sunday Sessions 15. That gives you 15% off. And you find this resource on the Training Space website. What
I'll
is
put the
this
link in.
resource?
I'll put the link in the chat.
This resource is the electronic um, Lego bricks, shapes for your non-fiction plans, which means you could. So, for example, here, world recognition. You can lift these symbols, you can print them off high res, you can electronically put them on your whiteboard, or if you're working with an iPad on Notability or GoodNotes, you can build your own maps. If you're using the unit plans and you're thinking, I don't want to do 9 lessons of that balanced argument. I'm just going to do a smaller version of it. This means that you can tailor make your own units using this shape pack. And in that shape pack as well, we've got lots of blank pathways, uh, maps that you can use as a teacher. You can put them on your working wall and you can use them for children to plan
So
to
we're
as
doing
well.
lots and lots and lots in the unit plans. About 200 in total.
Yeah, yeah, there's loads of plans to choose from, but that shape pack means that you can build the maps really cleanly and well on your interactive board if you need to. Okay, so what have we learnt so far? The big messages: children need knowledge to write, they need content, and they can't be overloaded either. Giving them the whole story or getting them to retell the whole story, they can get a bit kind of overloaded with plot or overloaded with information. We're going to give information over in bite sized chunks and we're going to really sharpen their thinking up. I'm going to give you a quick example for poetry, and this has been taken from our year 4 unit from based on the model by Valerie Bloom, The Most Dangerous Animal in the World. And you can see here that this poem, it's got a title. Uh, we've got this verse shape here and this rhyme structure, and the butterfly image just represents, kind of in a symbolic way, any animal that's going to be a focus for this verse. So, this poem that we want the children to write is going to be about the most annoying animal in the world, and a verse makes a lesson. We know, just to rewind back, we know that a plot point makes a lesson and that a plot point makes a paragraph of writing. We know for non-fiction, a waypoint makes a lesson, and where it can, the waypoint will make a paragraph. Obviously, if it's newspaper and we're doing a headline and a strap line, that's not going to make a paragraph, but where it can in nonfiction, it'll make a paragraph. And here for poetry, we're going to be working in verse or stanza chunks or in line chunks, line 1 to 4. Okay. So we are going to breathe a verse or stanza to life now. And you'll notice with poetry, if it's relevant, we show the rhyme structure down the side. So here you can see that the first and the second line rhyme, and the third and the fourth line rhyme. And what is going to be our focus? Well, we're going to insert a very annoying animal there. And our annoying animal is going to be a mosquito. It's exactly the same. You can feel a pattern coming on, can't you? We have an image. We take the children into that image and we breathe it to life. Mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are a family of small flying insects. There are 3,600 species, and all mosquitoes drink nectar from flowers. But there are some female mosquitoes that have been adapted to drink blood. What? Drink actual blood? Like human blood? Yes. They are known by the World Health Organization as a micro predator, and they can pierce a human skin, feed on our blood. When their saliva is transferred during a bite, it can cause an itchy rash. They can also pass on diseases such as malaria and yellow fever. And did you know that this year already they have caused 725,000 deaths? Now, mosquitoes are a real problem, but big problem in hot countries. We have 30 species in the UK, and they are less infectious and do not bite. We do need to be careful on holiday. And unfortunately, climate change is increasing these disease spreading, annoying animals. And once children have been furnished with the facts, we can move them then into, make sure you get this, we can move them into, and we're going to be talking about this next week in a lot of detail, thinking side into writing side. And what I am going to say very quickly, a bit of food for thought for next week. The more words we have here, in fact, the more phrases we have here, the more clauses we have here, the less it's going to be closed procedure writing. But if we're going to work to write the first two lines for this verse where we need these two end words to rhyme, well, children will need lots of help getting rhymes that are logical and might work. Bite, delight, skin, pin, quickly, sickly. We've got all of these sad face, feeling words to describe how annoying they are. We've got a little thesaurus thinking family here of small words like teeny and miniature. And then we've got these verbs of what they're actually going to do when they get our blood, slurping and devouring. So once we've got the breathe a verse to life, and next week, we're going to talk about how we populate the thinking side. We can move into writing where we might say, right, oh, I'm going to look here. A vexing creature, a maddening creature. Oh, I'm going to take vexing. Let me bring over vexing here. A vexing. Actually, I think I prefer infuriating. Let me bring that over. An infuriating. Well, I could say creature, but I'm going to be a bit more specific. Oh, look, good job I reread that. An infuriating insect who finds, oh, oh, yes. If it's an animal that finds here, what can I go for? Flash, rash, bite, delight. Oh, I'm going to go for that, I think. An infuriating insect that finds great delight. Yeah, that's good. That finds great delight. That's my first line there. I've got delight landed. It's got to now rhyme here. Bite is perfect. Is the small mozzie, is the tiny mozzie, is the micro mosquito. I might do the whole thing there, a little bit of alliteration. When it has a bite, takes a bite's better, takes a bite. Yeah, we're next week going to be looking really closely at thinking side and the four big strategies to make sure we've got them slick, like little capsules of training, I suppose. And we've got them ready in our toolkit so that we can get there quickly. So I'm actually really excited about next week because I know that's a really important one. And the last thing we want, in fact, I might put a gun to my head if I see this anymore. The last thing we want is closed procedure writing. Let's, where it's like we've gathered one bank, we've underlined one word, you know, what is that big rich approach to language, that gathering? How do we get there? We've only got an hour. All right, I've taken a minute off you. You've only got 49 minutes. Yeah. uh how can we get there quickly? If we're working in 3 learning chunks, if we're working in 20-minute chunks, how can we populate quickly over here? 20 minutes to build a chunk. Yeah, it's not easy. But and some of you really do know this, I will come in and teach in your school, because being able to talk about teaching and learning, let me tell you, I fall on my face many times, but being able to talk about teaching and learning, about how we can make it better, how we can sharpen it, this is what the job is all about, isn't it?
Before you run on,
I'm not running on.
jumping ahead of yourself.
I'm
I'll
not.
just quickly say this.
Yes.
Dark Engine has just said, instead of great delight, delectable delight.
Oh, hey, I love.
Thank you, Dark Engine.
I love your delectable. That is one of Mr. C's favourite words.
Alliteration too much. I don't know whether. I've got a couple of
Oh, that is kids all over, isn't it?
ask a question as well.
Yeah, do it.
Right, we're trialing the arrival in year 6. What would you recommend? We are starting our first lesson tomorrow. This is wonderful, by the way. I don't really know what the question's asking. I've said
I think the question is, you know what I think the question is?
music. What music?
Yes, I would. And actually, do you know?
Danny Boy.
Oh, Danny,
Oh, Danny Boy.
I hope you are Irish, Danny boy. I actually have got a piece of music that I use with the arrival. Mr. C, how amazingly right, I'm gonna get Mr. C to crank into my computer. Uh if you if you look here, only because like let's solve this now because some of you are using the. No, I know, but I might. Hey, listen, mate. You're thinking I might have. I've already put it into the. Right, just bear with me. If you can go into my folder with capital letters, go into. In fact, Danny boy. Why don't Danny? Just because this is going to be a. It's a bit boring for everyone, isn't it? I've just thought that. Like, who wants to watch me struggle on a computer trying to just sort Danny out and no one else? Yeah, I use a absolutely amazing piece of music for the arrival. Yeah, and I'm gonna let you inside my brain. You can have that, but email info. Let me write that down actually, because loads of we're actually really kind when it comes to like some people don't answer emails. We really do. Info at the training space. .co.uk, and I will let you know what my music is. Danny, yes, do it.
Right. Have you got any tips for children who are not native or non-native speakers?
Yeah.
Give a lot of input, but don't want it to be too much of closed procedure writing.
Yeah. What I think we're going to be talking about next week when we talk about thinking side, all of the strategies I'm going to be talking about will seriously support EAL and SEN pupils, because if we say to children, how shall we describe the sea? It can be a bit disappointing, can't it? We're going to get blue, we're going to get watery, we're going to get really watery, and it can be just a bit disappointing. Like, what can we do to really help children get there? And I'm not answering. That is definitely next week. Thinking side. Any more questions?
One more about thinking side. Would you just have the thinking side on a different slide? refer back to it, or keep the thinking side and writing side on the same slide? Like,
When I work with, when I teach in schools, can you put this screen on, Ian,
yeah,
here? Basically, this is how I lay it out. I have all the time. I work electronically on an iPad, but I always have thinking side and writing side written live and visible at all times for children. Now, I know some of you are working on paper and some of you are working on wipe offable boards. I actually now could not work without an iPad, mainly because you have that more kind of facing the children, and in fact, you actually can be sitting with the children, and you've got in your hand, if you've got an iPad, an instant visualizer, and you can throw their work up and do lots of live marking with them. So I couldn't teach without this now. But quick answer to your question, think inside is absolutely there because you are showing them all the time that you're turning to your words that are in the vault and you're choosing from them. You know, I could choose spit and split to make my rhyme ends, but I've chosen delight and bite so that we're using it like a writer's jotter, like a writer's journal.
so
It's like metacognition for writing. But hey, you're being
really going on to
they're being cheeky, aren't they? Just asking
next
me
week.
next
Can I
week.
just add one last? So there's really nice, like, interesting comment here. So this is from Dark Engine again. So it says that they're embarrassed because they joined the channel really late and thought it was aimed at adults, which it is, but it's teachers. I'm from Japan. I learned English as a second language. So I've said you're very welcome to come to all of them.
Yeah,
But what is interesting is we've had Qatar, we've got the Netherlands, and we've had Japan tonight so far. They're the people who've told us.
thank you.
So
Thank you for being
uh,
all around the world. That is absolutely gorgeous.
one last question then.
Go.
This is from D. Good evening. This is amazing. This is the last question. Thank you so much. How would you suggest I create timings for the early years?
Timings for early years writing. Okay, so if you have got the early years plans, you've got to make a teacher judgment about how long can I keep these kids being excited about writing, into it, celebrating their emerging writing and the mission of writing for meaning. Because what we're trying to do in the early years, we want them to understand the phonics code, but we're not waiting for that to be perfect to write for meaning. Both of these things need to run alongside each other. And you might think, as an early years teacher, they have got something to make marks with, where they're writing with a skinny felt and on paper. And I can probably keep them here for 12 minutes. And we're excited and it's going well. And we've got something down, brill. I can keep them for longer and it might change over the year. The quick answer to your question, D, is you do you, honey. Right, we have come to the end of the session. I've got to get in a car and drive to Liverpool. What I wanted to say was love you guys, love the squad, love all of you. Thanks for being here. It's so cute to see all of my favourite people, who the old schoolers coming back and new people coming through. This is just makes me laugh. I've always got blue tack at the bottom of my shoe, but you're not a teacher if you ain't got blue tack at the bottom of your shoe. So next week it is metacognition for writing and how we use their books like a writer's journal. You've been absolutely gorgeous. Lovely to see you all again. And I'll see you same time next week, Sunday sessions at 7:30.
Bye.
Bye.